guest with me this evening that I know you're going to find very, very interesting. So before we begin that, let me just say that you're listening to 1450. This is Houston's only jazz with an East Coast flavor and an international sound. Yes. And I want you to take notes at some of the things that he has encountered, and yet he was able to persevere and excel. That Miss Newhouse suggests I definitely pay attention to.
Okay.
But before we get into the accolades and the reason why I invited him here, I'd like for him to share his journey. And I want him to share his journey because there are so many students that have so much, and they do so little with it. So, where are you from originally?
I'm originally from New Orleans. I was born there. I lived there until August of 2005. That's the year Hurricane Katrina hit New Orleans. And that was also the year I was making the major transition over from middle school to high school. And, you know, it was difficult to begin with. And having a hurricane on top of that, that just made it extremely more difficult, even more difficult, you know, to make that, you know, that change from middle school to high school. So,
But what was that like? I mean, before we even get to high school, before we even leave New Orleans, what was that journey like during the hurricane? What did Katrina do to you and your family?
It devastated us pretty much. You know, we lost everything. We had to start over from scratch when we came to the Houston area. Living an entire life in Louisiana, it was just difficult because, you know, your base is over there, your friends are over there, your contacts are over there. You basically, it's your life that's over there. And so when you have to start over, it's just, you've never done it. You know, for me, I've never done it before. It was an entirely new experience. You know, when we evacuated that weekend, you know, everybody was expecting, you know, put on some flip-flops, we're coming right back home, and, you know, we didn't carry much. You know, we weren't expecting the situation to progress and get worse as it did.
So how long were you out of New Orleans? What I'm saying is this: when you were evacuated, did you evacuate prior to the storm?
We evacuated prior to the storm. You know, one of the things I always hear people tell me is that we were the smart ones. We were one of the smart ones that, you know, evacuated beforehand. You know, because we've always done that. You know, whenever we see a storm that's coming, we leave. You know, we try to leave like 3 or 4 days in advance. And so, you know, but being here in Houston to see what actually happened in the city, it was bittersweet, because at the same time, you know what's happening, but you see just how, you know, how the people of the city are affected. You know, you see the houses that are being lost, the lives that are being, you know, destroyed, and, you know, they have to start all over.
Now, I know that you are a journalist, at least that's one of your claim to fame, and you are definitely a journalist. We're talking Houston Chronicle journalist here. All right, so when you look back at what transpired in New Orleans, and I'm quite sure that New Orleans when I say this, I mean I'm incorporating parents. I'm quite sure that the foundation was laid via your parents. But what is it that Katrina taught you?
Well, it taught me that that education was important, because a lot of teachers do not get the support they need. You know, when they try to do something with the students, or you know, in my case, do a newsletter, they don't have the support they need. The support is just not there. And, you know, when they do try to do it, you know,
/ Natalie J Evans, and you'll see the work that Simeon Forrest is doing. He's also a Yates student, and he's the photographer that's involved with this interview right now. So here's the newsletter.
Right.
And then inspire the parent.
Right. I would tell the freshmen that don't play around in ninth grade. First of all, yeah.
Okay.
But seriously, you have to get an idea of what you want to do. And, you know, it's never too early to look at, you know, your career goals, your aspirations, your future. Don't start, you know, don't wait around. Don't just wait for things to happen. You gotta be aggressive. Go out and get it. Don't just sit around and just expect something to happen. You know, you have to be proactive.
It's a pleasure.
You too. It's a pleasure.
Cool. So you can come back again, okay?
I will. I want to.
All right, good. You're listening to 1450 AM KCOH, Houston, Texas. And this is the Night Train. My name is Natalie J. And I'd like to thank Patrick Levy very much for being here this evening. And Newhouse, thank you for the introduction.